So you cheated on your keto diet and you got knocked out of ketosis. And now you're frustrated. You're not in ketosis anymore. Oh no. Well, in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 easy tips here to get right back into ketosis fast. And when I say fast, within 24 hours. Let's do this. Hey keto campers, Ben Azadi here, certified functional health practitioner, best-selling author of 3 books, and here at Keto Camp, we're on a mission to educate and to inspire 1 billion people. I'm so grateful you chose this channel today. It can be so frustrating. You were doing so good, and all of a sudden, you cheated, and you're not registering ketones anymore. What do you do? Well, I'm gonna outline 5 ways to get right back in there fast. Number 5 in this video ties it all together. It is the foundation for all these tips, so make sure you stick around for number 5. But if you follow these tips, you'll be right back into the great land of ketosis. Let's start with tip number 1 here, and that's gonna be swapping out your breakfast, starting today, with a fatty cup of coffee. There's 2 specific ingredients we wanna throw in that coffee to help your body get right back into ketosis. Studies show that MCTs, which stands for medium chain triglycerides. If you look at coconut oil, 60% of coconut oil is MCT oil. So when you look at MCTs, the unique thing about MCTs is that it bypasses digestion and goes right into the mitochondria of your cells. What does that mean? That means a quick hit of energy. It goes right into that power plant called the mitochondria in your brain, in your body. So if you throw in a tablespoon of MCT oil with your cup of coffee, that will help your body start utilizing fat and tell your energy power plants to start doing work. You want to also make sure you're using organic coffee beans. There was a study, check this out, that showed participants that consumed caffeine in the form of coffee doubled their ketone production. And you can see the study here. Caffeine given at breakfast significantly stimulated ketone production in a dose-dependent manner and also raised plasma-free fatty acids. So by consuming caffeine, it's teaching your body to utilize its fatty acids for fuel to break down those triglycerides. And what happens next is ketones are produced. If you want to read this study, I'll put a link for it down below. Some other forms of MCTs, just so you have this in your arsenal, are going to be, as I mentioned, coconut oil, grass-fed cheese, grass-fed butter, which you could also put in your coffee, or a grass-fed ghee. If you want to see my step-by-step approach to making the world's healthiest and most delicious fatty keto cup of coffee, click the button right here and you can watch how I make my morning cup of coffee. You have this instead of a normal breakfast, even a keto breakfast, have this fatty cup of coffee and you're going to be on the road to the great land of ketosis. So that's tip number 1. Start your breakfast off with swapping a breakfast with a fatty cup of coffee. Number 2 tip here is to continue fasting throughout the day. Yes, intermittent fasting. Here's what happens when you practice intermittent fasting. We know that after your cheat meal, you have filled your glycogen stores. What does that mean? Those are your sugar reserves. And we want to burn through those sugar reserves and teach your body to start breaking down fat, not just your sugar reserves. So the analogy I'm going to share with you is this from the great Dr. Fung, my mentor and my colleague. Think of your sugar reserves, your glycogen stores, as the wallet you have inside of your pocket right now. You pull out that wallet, you take out cash, you put cash back in, very easy access to get to it, but there's a limited storage capacity. You could only put so much cash in that wallet. Well, think of your sugar reserves as this limited storage capacity. You store about 2,000 calories in the form of your liver and muscle glycogen stores. And it's easy to get to, easy to replenish. The goal here, after this cheat meal, if you want to get back into ketosis, is to burn through these sugar reserves, burn through that wallet. Because once you deplete that wallet, now you have access to your bank safe. Think of your bank safe as a big storage facility, right? You drive to the bank, takes a lot longer to get there versus your wallet, but once you have access to that bank safe, it's almost unlimited reserves, unlimited fat burning going on in that bank safe. That's where we start producing ketones because your body starts breaking down fat. So when you practice intermittent fasting, here's the point. Your body's gonna burn through its sugar reserves. It's gonna pull out energy and in the form of your food energy. That's the way we were designed to be. So I highly recommend, after your fatty cup of keto coffee, continue fasting throughout the day. Go 20 hours, go 24 hours, but you're gonna see and you're gonna notice that you're gonna be right back into ketosis by adding the intermittent fasting. And I know what you're asking, doesn't the coffee, the fatty coffee, break my fast? Yeah, it breaks a traditional water fast, but you could still get most of the benefits and even this autophagy process, cellular recycling, even with the fatty cup of coffee. Now you could also test to see if that coffee goes well with you or not. What you want to do is you want to test your blood glucose before that fatty cup of coffee and then 30 minutes after. If you see your glucose stay the same, then you are good to go. If you see your glucose rise by more than 5 or 10 points, then it is negating some of that autophagy. You could always test to verify, but either way, I think it's a good idea to have that fatty cup of coffee and continue fasting throughout the day. I do have a video on approved liquids to have during a fast. I'll put that link down below in this video. Tip number 3 here goes aligned with the previous 2 tips, and that is going to be perform fasted cardio throughout the day. When you go into a workout, an exercise routine, preferably cardio here, 30 to 60 minutes, moderate pace, you're putting your metabolic stores, your fat stores at the front of this metabolic bus. Think of it the opposite way. If you eat before a workout, before cardio, you're putting that food energy at the front of that metabolic bus, and your body's gonna burn that first before it burns your body fat. But when you go into it fasted, you have the body fat and your body will start breaking that down. This is a super hack to get more of this autophagy because your body will stimulate a process called AMPK, which then stimulates autophagy. We want that because autophagy helps your body get rid of damaged cells, damaged mitochondria, this cellular debris, these senescent zombie cells that we don't want. And in doing so, your body's gonna break down fat cells and produce ketones. So I recommend on this day, going for a 30 to 60 minute run, some sort of moderate cardio in the fasted state. I have 2 more tips for you here. Before I get to them, if this video has been helpful so far, keto campers, please smash the thumbs up button on this video and subscribe to the Keto Camp YouTube channel if you're not subscribed yet. Hit the bell so you're notified when we release a brand new video or when we go live. By the way, we go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. The number 4 tip here is that when you break the fast, break it the right way. There is a wrong way and a right way to break that fast because how you break your fast is almost as important as the fast itself. When you break your fast, your body is very sensitive to whatever food you're going to eat. Thomas DeLauer spoke about this on the interview I did with him a few weeks ago, and you can watch that interview right here. We want to make sure we're giving our body the exact building blocks it needs to continue burning fat and to get the benefits from that fast, the stem cells that were created after the autophagy and the apoptosis. You could do that by having a protein-rich meal right when you break the fast. So here are some examples of what you want to do to break your fast. Maybe a protein shake that is mostly protein with a little bit of some fat, like a collagen protein shake. Also a piece of steak and maybe some broccoli. That's also fantastic. Some chicken breast, maybe with some of the skin on. That's also a fantastic option right there. What we don't want to break our fast with, which could negate getting into ketosis, is going to be a combination of fat and carbohydrates. For example, if you threw in some fruit or maybe some honey in that protein shake, that would not be a good idea because now you have the protein, the fat, and the carbs. Not good. Because here's why. When you break a fast, your hormones are sensitive. As I mentioned, the body is sensitive to what you're going to eat. Insulin will be sensitive, meaning you'll spike glucose when you combine fat and carbohydrates. And since your hormones are now sensitive, insulin will take that glucose out of the bloodstream, put it into your cells. So this is great. But what will follow will be the fat that you had with the carbohydrates, and it will slow down your fat burning and probably prevent you from getting into ketosis. Not good. So stick with clean protein, and then 60 minutes later, you could have the carbohydrates if you want. Just keep it below 50 grams because anything over that for carbohydrates will knock you out of ketosis. Here's the 5th tip, which ties it all together because I believe if you don't lay down this foundation and follow it, the previous 4 tips probably will not work for you. This is what I'm talking about: sleep and stress. Did you know that when you are sleep deprived, you are chronically raising your insulin and cortisol levels? How does that even work? Here's how it works. A study from Scientific America examined what sleep deprivation just a couple nights per week did to raise cortisol and contribute to obesity. It showed that when you are not getting the right amount of sleep for you, your body is going to raise cortisol. That means your body is raising its stress hormone. So what happens here is a vicious cycle. You don't get enough sleep, so you're sleep deprived, and you raise cortisol, which means you're stressed out. You're stressed out, so you don't get enough sleep. And then it goes back and forth. Here's why it's important when it comes to getting back into ketosis. When you raise cortisol, that stress hormone, do you know what follows? Glucose and insulin. That's right, you don't even have to eat food, and you could get knocked out of ketosis just by being sleep deprived or by being stressed out. At the time of this recording, we're in the middle of the quarantine, the coronavirus scare, so if you're freaking out over that, if you're living in stress and fear, then it's going to be hard to get back into ketosis. So I'm going to share some quick tips for you here on some things you can do starting today to master your sleep and your stress, keep cortisol at bay, and get into the great land of ketosis. Number one, have a nighttime routine. I have seen taking a warm to hot shower about 60 minutes before your intended bedtime could help you get ready for bed. Have some banana tea 30 minutes before bed. Banana tea is fantastic. It's a great way to calm the mind. It's what I call nature's NyQuil. Got this tip from America's sleep doctor, Dr. Michael Bruce, who I interviewed on this channel. You can watch that interview. I'll put a link for it down below. You want to grab a whole banana and you want to leave the peel on. Cut off the ends, cut the banana in half, and boil that banana with water. Make sure that banana is organic. Here's what's going to happen. The peel of the banana has more micronutrients, potassium, magnesium, than the actual banana itself. As it boils, all of those micronutrients start to seep out into the water. Once that banana peel starts to get brown, pour that water into a cup. There's your banana tea. Drink that. It is keto friendly because you're not actually eating the banana itself. You're getting the micronutrients from the peel. So that is going to contribute to a good night's sleep. You could also make sure your bedroom is cold, 62 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, where studies show you get good, deep restorative sleep, and make sure that bedroom's as dark as possible. I have several videos on my channel on ways to optimize your sleep. I'll put videos for them down below. I also have a best-selling book called The Power of Sleep. You get on Amazon to learn about sleep. There's 5 chapters. I deep dive into sleep. I'll put a link for that down below as well. Also, it's important to master the stress. When you practice love and gratitude, those are 2 of the biggest healers I believe we have in the world. Like Dr. Will Cole said, you cannot heal a body you hate. So start with self-love. Start with gratitude. Before you go to bed, take out a piece of paper, write down 10 things you're grateful for. Do the same thing in the morning. You're gonna notice when you practice love and gratitude, you heal the body, and it's easier for you to get right back into ketosis, okay? If you think this is woo-woo, I want you to test your ketones when you are in ketosis, get into an argument with somebody without even eating food, test your ketones again. You'll be knocked out just from that stress because cortisol goes up, glucose and insulin follows, ketones drop. So these are your 5 tips. I hope this was helpful. I'm curious, for those of you who stuck around to watch this whole video, thank you. Which one was your favorite tip in this video? Please comment down below. Was it tip number 1, a fatty cup of coffee with the MCT and the caffeine? Or was it tip number 2, practice intermittent fasting? Was it tip number 3, fasted cardio? Was it tip number 4, breaking your fast the right way? Or was it tip number 5, mastering sleep and stress? Please comment down below. Let me know which one of these were your favorite. I know that if you follow these tips, you'll be right back into ketosis within 24 hours. Please take a second here to share this video with a friend you know who's following a keto lifestyle. It can make a big difference for them. I want to take a second here to give a shout out to a super camper, Lynn Knight. As you can see, Lynn has a custom badge next to her name. When she comments, we could see that badge because she is a super camper. This is an exclusive membership here on YouTube where you could have custom badges, custom emojis, and get custom content from me for about $6. You can learn more by hitting the join button down below, and half of the proceeds go to Farmers Footprint Initiative to help restore the farmland in the world. I want to thank you so much for watching this entire video. I hope it was helpful. Hit that thumbs up button if it was. Subscribe to this channel. You'll see me on the next video.